Hello again. We're moving on to strange story number 6. When I was about 18, 19 years old, I was going through an old box that my mom had in her garage, and it was filled with items from my childhood: toys, coloring books, things like that. And I came across a coloring book that I had never colored. It was all blank pages, black and white, pictures. And I went through it, and it was a lot of like nature scenes, trees, butterflies, flowers. And I kind of understood why I didn't color that when I was younger, because I was more into superheroes and, things like that. And this was not a superhero coloring book. So as I'm looking through it, I noticed that there's an abundance of little black and white butterflies, uncolored butterflies in this book. And at the time, I used to draw like all over my walls and my door, and I had, art and pictures and things, whatever I wanted to put up in my room, my bedroom. And I had the idea to go through this book, cut out all the little butterflies, and tape them randomly on the wall. It's just where my head was. So I proceeded to do this. Uh, my mother had a hardcover Joy of Cooking book that, for whatever reason, I had that on my floor in my bedroom, and I was using that to put the butterflies, and there were even like little clippings, as I was cutting the butterflies out, were falling on top of this book. But for whatever reason, this Joy of Cooking book figures into this story. So I'm piling up these little butterflies on this Joy of Cooking book. And I began, once I'm done cutting what I wanted, I began putting little pieces of tape on the back and bringing them to random spots on my wall. I have 3 butterflies left, right? I pick up one butterfly, so now I have 2 butterflies left on the book. I'm holding the third. And so I pick up this third to last butterfly, and I go, and I remember I walked to the foot of my bed. I was next to my bed on the floor. I walked to the foot of my bed to the right and put this butterfly on the wall right there. And I came back and knelt on the ground in front of a book that should have had 2 butterflies on it, right? But 2 butterflies were not on the book. As typically occurs in a situation like this, the rational, logical mind takes over. And I looked on my bed, and I looked under my bed. I looked on my nightstand. I looked on my desk. I looked on my dresser. I picked the book up and looked under the book. I flipped through the pages of the book. Everything that was on the front cover, which at this point now was just little clippings, the pieces of cut paper, went onto the floor. And nothing was in the book. Nothing was under the book. These 2 butterflies were nowhere. I put the book down completely, nothing on top of it at this point. And if you've been listening to any of my other videos, I've been having strange experiences similar to this one in a way since I was very young. At this point, 18, 19, I had studied a little bit about it. I was, developing theories. Are they ghosts? Are they spirits? Are they elves? Are they fairies? Are they, is it aliens? Is it the Matrix? Whatever. I don't think the Matrix movie had even come out yet, but I was pondering ideas as to, is it another dimension? What's happening here? So I preface what I'm about to say with that because I'm kneeling in front of this book that should have had 2 butterflies left on it. And they weren't there. They weren't anywhere. And so I looked up for some reason into the right-hand corner of my room. And I spoke to whatever took these butterflies. And I said, my initial first thought was, if you want them, you can have them. And I said that. But then I changed my mind almost immediately. And I spoke my mind to the corner of my room, a right-hand ceiling corner. And I said, no. I said, I didn't say you could have them. And granted, keep in mind, I don't know what I'm talking to. I don't know what I'm talking to at all. I'm just assuming that something ghostly or otherwise took my damn butterflies. So I say, eyes still trained on the upper corner of my room, I say, no, I didn't say you could have them. Give them back. I said it and I was serious. And what happened was that whatever took my butterflies gave them back. Because when I looked back down at the book, the 2 butterflies were there. And like I said, I just picked that book up and wiped it off, and the butterflies were nowhere. All of a sudden, after I communicated with whatever took my butterflies, they were back. This story is interesting because it's the first time that I spoke to something that was effing with me, you know, and it responded. Again, nothing evil, nothing malevolent occurring, just enough of something to let me know that something's going on. The veil is thin, as they say. I'm telling some of these stories, because I want to share them. I want to kind of just get them out. If anything ever happens to me, my son can come back and listen to these stories. And, there's so many things since my mother passed. I'll try to remember something she said, and I won't remember the exact time frame or exactly where this took place, et cetera, et cetera. And I wish I had her to go back to. And these are some strange stories that I've told my son that are true. And I also this is kind of these stories are kind of a preface to what I want to talk about with regard to spirituality and Christianity and the Bible and my opinions that I have developed and am still developing with regard to that world. What I did want to show, I saved in a scrapbook, and you can see that. That's one of the butterflies that disappeared and came back. I've had it in this scrapbook for 30 years almost now, 29 years, 28 years. There used to be 2 there. I saved both of the butterflies. Somewhere along the line, as the years went on, one of them went missing. So maybe whatever took it took one of them back finally. Anyway, I don't know. All I know is that I have this story. It happened to me. It's as real as the things that happen to me with other people, so that they could corroborate what happened. This happened to me alone. But I know it happened. And what do you do with it, right? That's kind of more than anything, more than my interest in music, more than my interest in art, more than my interest in whatever, movies. I mean, I think the only thing that really I place above my interest in matters like this is my son. Otherwise, I'm really interested in what are we doing here? What is reality all about? Why do strange things like this happen to certain people? Why have so many of these things happened to me? It's kind of a fascination. It's an interest. It's a hobby. It's in a way, it's kind of a lifelong endeavor to try to pay some kind of attention to whatever else might be beyond our 5 senses, and sometimes happens to bleed into them. Is it ghosts? Is it did the fairies come and take my butterflies and give them back? Do we live in a multiverse, a multidimensional place where the lines blur from time to time? That would certainly make sense of a lot of the things that have happened to me, like this over time. And that's it, really. That's the story I wanted to tell in this video. If you want to hear more stories like that, or you want to hear what I have to say about religion and spirituality, brace yourself if you are, you know, a fundamentalist anything, because in a way, I go all over the place. Though I was, I was raised in a Christian background, so I'm going to lean heavily into those ideas. Whether it's in a good way or a negative way, you can decide as I discuss those things. I'm not sure what kind of video I'm going to make next, but that I think is it for this video. Uh, I think I mentioned last video that I might just go ahead and stop recommending a song at the end of each video. And yeah, I got nothing on my mind right now, and I'm kind of tired, so we're going to leave it at that. If you want to hear more, come on back. Take care.